Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the NetSuite podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Fisher, and I hope all of you have remained safe and healthy during this time. I first want to note that this podcast episode was recorded prior to COVID-19 closures and shelter in place. Everyone at NetSuite extends their support for those impacted by coronavirus, and we encourage you to visit netsuite.com for any resources you may need to get through this challenging time. On this episode, we're discussing NetSuite's SuiteCloud platform, a comprehensive offering of cloud development tools, applications, and infrastructure that enable customers and software developers to maximize the benefits of cloud computing. We're joined by Elham Ghassemzadeh, NetSuite's Vice President of Platform Product Management. She dives into the SuiteCloud platform, how it helps companies overcome business challenges and uncover new functionalities as a business continues to evolve, and how it benefits NetSuite partners and individual software vendors. Ultimately, she explains the SuiteCloud platform helps organizations tie processes and different parts of the business to the suite, giving those organizations tremendous agility, something we've learned is imperative in this current climate to help make quick and impactful business decisions and adapt accordingly. She goes on to explain some of the recent advancements of the SuiteCloud platform in NetSuite's 2020 Release 1, including the SuiteCloud Development Framework and SuiteScript 2.1, and how all of those updates will benefit NetSuite customers, partners, and ISVs today and in the future. Tune in for all of this and more coming up next.
You're listening to the NetSuite podcast, where we discuss what's happening within NetSuite, why we're doing it, and where we're heading in the future. We'll dive into the details about the software and the people at NetSuite who are behind all the moving parts. We'll also feature customer growth stories, discussing the ups and downs of running a company and how one integrated system can help your business continue to scale.
Hi, Elham. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the NetSuite podcast.
Thank you, Kendall. Thank you for inviting me.
Is this your first podcast recording?
Yes, it is.
Well, I think you're going to be great. So you're the Vice President of Product Platform. Before we dive into everything else, what does that mean? What does your role entail?
That's a great question. I run a global product management organization that creates the strategy and defines features for the SuiteCloud platform. My main responsibility is to make sure our SuiteCloud users are happy and have a good experience with SuiteCloud products. But secondly, I make sure our strategy is aligned with the vision and the strategy of Oracle NetSuite, as well as the rest of the product.
So we're obviously going to get into the SuiteCloud platform, and I'm excited for our listeners to hear everything that we have to come with that, especially in the 20.1 release. But before that, how did you develop into this role? What's your history here at NetSuite?
I'm totally going to date myself when I answer that question. I was hired as the integration product manager 15 years ago. After I launched the first set of web services APIs for integration, I moved on to managing numerous other customization and integration capabilities and what subsequently became the SuiteCloud platform.
Okay, 15 years. That's like, NetSuite is only 21 years old now?
Something like that.
Wow. So you've been here a good chunk of NetSuite's life, if you will.
That's right.
So with that 15 years of experience working with companies obviously all over the globe, if you could summarize it, what are organizations' biggest business needs? What challenges do you see them looking to overcome the most?
That's a good question. It kind of goes pretty deep, but I think regardless of the type of the business and the market they're tackling, the most critical challenge for every company is the ability to be agile and respond to business changes quickly so that they can maintain a competitive advantage. I like to think that's just the problem we solve for our customers through the capabilities we provide with the SuiteCloud platform.
Yeah, so let's dive into that then. What is the SuiteCloud platform? Why was it created and what part of the suite is it?
The products in the SuiteCloud portfolio have a broad range and apply to solving many different business problems. These are the tools that are used to extend NetSuite and make it fit different business needs. We have a very big global footprint with our customer base. There are businesses of all shapes and sizes using our suite of applications. While we offer a broad range of capabilities out of the box, we can't possibly build everything everyone needs ourselves. For example, Our customers range from a jewelry store to an online entertainment company. They each need different automation, different data to track for their business, and a set of different systems to integrate with. So the SuiteCloud platform offers the tools to help them do just that and run their entire business on NetSuite.
So then what about on the agility side of things that you mentioned? You said being agile and flexible enough to, to kind of grow and change and pivot. That's a big business need that you've seen in your years of experience at NetSuite. How does the SuiteCloud platform address that and other challenges that companies may face?
I think one of the ways of kind of answering this question is by looking at what our customers do and how they discover the SuiteCloud platform. Okay. So they typically buy NetSuite because they're using for financials or other features of the suite. But then as they go through the onboarding experience and a standard implementation cycle, they realize the power of the platform. For example, it's really easy to extend NetSuite objects using custom fields and custom records. If you need to track any additional data about your business, you don't need to use other systems. You can put that data inside of NetSuite, and just like any other standard object that NetSuite offers out of the box. So we take it for granted because we thought of it early on and built our customization ground up as part of the service that we provide. But there are some other SaaS players in the market who had to add customization layer later, and it just doesn't work as well either for them or for their customers. So as a business evolves, they can move fast and build additional functionality to tie the other parts of their business and processes to the suite. This gives our customers tremendous agility and business advantage because they don't have to deploy additional systems and softwares to achieve this goal.
Okay, got it. So when we're talking about these customizations, like we talk about with Suite Success, it's customizations across industry, across size, things that typically other SaaS companies don't have. They kind of have just the out of the box, you get what you get is what you get.
That's right. And in fact, big aspect of our own go-to-market at NetSuite for verticals and for Suite Success ties in with the use of our platform, and we can specifically talk about some of the examples of that.
Yeah, can we dive into that?
Sure. So we actually use the same tools that we offer our customers to build a lot of features ourselves.
Yeah.
So therefore, this has helped us to kind of evolve the platform capabilities to fit the needs of a heavy-duty ISV. So if we can do it, our customers and partners can do that too.
And when you say we do it, you mean NetSuite?
Oracle NetSuite,
yeah, Oracle
yes,
NetSuite
ourselves.
uses the SuiteCloud platform ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's kind of comforting for anybody who's listening. I mean, we're a company using our own product. A lot of software companies don't actually do that. That I've come to find out in interviewing customers, they don't actually use their own platform.
That's right, and that is the reason that we kind of can act quickly, and because we are servicing ourselves as well as servicing our customer base.
Right, we're learning from ourselves as well as learning from our 19,000 plus customers across the globe.
Yep.
Can you provide actually a real life customer example of who's benefited from SuiteCloud?
Sure. So it's still pretty surprising to me to see some of the solutions our customers build. These are not things that we normally think about, but maybe a more kind of common example or an interesting example is a water inspection company up in Canada who replaced the manual and paper-based process with a fully digital mobile experience. Their field engineers used to go to inspect water reservoirs, then they had to go back to their office and type in their findings, and then someone had to print out the reports and mail them to their customers. So they replaced this process, which was heavily manual, with a fully digitized and real-time experience. They automated their report generation and used our customer center to provide online access to their customers so that they can see their own reports. And this is, of course, very custom experience to this type of business. And they would have had to deploy other systems that integrated with their back office to do the same thing, which would have been a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult to manage.
Yeah, and a lot more time.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really interesting. Having to come back every single time. I mean, that adds hours and hours and hours of work, of manual work.
Absolutely.
And time that they could be using elsewhere, which I'm sure now they use that, the time, the resources that it took to do that type of labor they're now utilizing, I'm sure, to do bigger and better things with the company.
Absolutely.
Now you've talked about customers. I believe we also have ISVs you kind of alluded to earlier, and partners using the SuiteCloud platform. Can you talk about them a little bit?
Oh, yeah. So as you said, SuiteCloud is also used by ISVs, and ISVs are independent software vendors, and they basically use the same tools as customers and the same tools as we use to build bread and butter applications that can be deployed into our ecosystem and often used by hundreds or if not thousands of customers. So there are numerous partners doing this, and there are lots of applications out there, and you can actually see their solution published on suiteapp.com on our website. We ourselves are an ISV, and we use the tools that we provide for our own vertical and Suite Success go-to-market strategy. And we heavily leverage platform to deliver lots and lots of Suite apps to our customers too. So it means that we had to build a serious set of DevOps tools that support a very complex development and release processes, and also meet audit and compliance requirements.
Okay, so it's one thing to say, like, we here at NetSuite, you can utilize it, but how much experience do customers, partners, ISVs need to be able to develop this application and extensions on the platform?
So our primary audiences for our products are administrators or like IT analysts and developers. So they each present a very broad and diverse set of problems they want to solve with SuiteCloud, which of course makes our job very interesting.
Yes, I'm sure. 19,000 plus customers.
Right. So IT admins are less technical and use mostly point-and-click tools like Suite Builder custom fields and custom records, or build kind of custom process automation with SuiteFlow to extend the NetSuite. And developers are very code savvy, and they often look for latest trends and industry standard-based tools to be agile and productive when building Suite apps and customizations.
Got it. So let's say a company doesn't run on NetSuite. What would it take to do these types of things with the same results?
Oh, like we talked about with the customer example, they would have to bolt together lots of systems to achieve the same results, and the IT cost would be dramatically higher, to a point that some customers would potentially shy away from tackling that challenge, right?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't realize the same results, or they would struggle to make a diverse set of products work together, and that may not be the best fit for their growing business, because that's where they end up spending most of their time. And then as the result of a kind of a hairball integration or lots of tools that don't work or weren't designed to work well together, the user experience that they end up offering their users would be substandard too.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine having to walk in and learn, a myriad of different systems that don't speak to each other. That's the most frustrating thing in the world. I've actually done that at a company before, and it was not fun.
You were not using NetSuite.
No, not at the time. I wasn't. I'm happy to say that at NetSuite, I use NetSuite now. But
there you go.
Okay, so let's get into 20.1. With the 20.1 rollout, what are some of the examples of the recent advancement your team has made for SuiteCloud that's making a difference for NetSuite customers and users?
Right. Something that I feel very proud of, and a tool that we've had for some time, is called SuiteCloud Development Framework, also known as SDF. So I keep saying SDF so people know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This is used for application development and distribution, and it offers tremendous developer productivity increase when it's used. And it brings the NetSuite cloud development paradigm close to an on-prem experience, which is very familiar to developers, and that's what they like.
Yeah, that's where I was wondering, what inspired that? Like, why people just didn't prefer sometimes the on-prem experience?
Well, yeah. So like I said, we use a lot of tools that we build for our customers ourselves, because we build on the SuiteCloud platform too. And at some point during the history of NetSuite, we realized that features that we used for application development and distribution didn't scale very well.
Okay.
As we started kind of deploying our apps to lots and lots of customers, we were feeling a pain, and it didn't satisfy our needs. So we went back to the drawing board and reinvented the solution with SDF. And it's interesting that, of course, many of our customers and developers were also feeling the same pain, and they were asking for this sort of capability too. And we are really proud and excited that we were able to provide SDF and the associated tool sets available to them. So SDF, together with the developer toolsets, are a game changer. They help our community of developers and ISVs to create solid DevOps processes, and we've been extending this product area for the last few years. In 20.1, we specifically added Node.js support, that our command line interface can be integrated with server-side JavaScript operations for a fully automated continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline.
The last few months have taught us what's important. It's also taught us what we need to change. It's the same for business. Why have a hairball of multiple software systems when all you need is NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system? NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more, all in one place. Receive your free guide, 7 Actions Businesses Need to Take Now, and schedule your free product tour at netsuite.com/open. netsuite.com/open.
The reason we did this is we've gathered this from customer feedback, as well as I'm sure feedback within NetSuite.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
What about more other advancements that are helping developers?
So along the lines of what we talked about in terms of Suite apps and distribution of Suite apps, now we have a Suite app marketplace in the product that offers a consumer-like experience to business users and administrators to help them find Suite apps that are relevant to their needs. So the same applications that are listed on SuiteApp.com can also be found inside the product using the Suite app marketplace. And they can be easily installed in the account, whereas on SuiteApp.com, you couldn't install it into your account because it's a separate website.
Oh, okay. So the benefit of this obviously is more seamless integration, less time.
More accessibility and more awareness around what are these solutions that are available for a given type of business, for a vertical or for a suite success deployment, and so on and so forth. Another exciting news for developers in 20.1 is that we also reinvented SuiteScript with SuiteScript 2.x. So more specifically, SuiteScript 2.1 is generally available as of this release. This new version of SuiteScript runs in a new Graal runtime environment, which supports the latest JavaScript language features. So customers and ISVs can attract better development talent. Developers can gain a lot of productivity increase using the native features of JavaScript language. They can code less and faster, but with higher quality.
So for a brand new customer or a prospect who's listening in right now, really quick, what is SuiteScript?
SuiteScript is our language that we use to develop or write custom business logic on NetSuite. So when you build customizations, there is an object that you create, and then if you want to kind of tell the object what the behaviors are, you use SuiteScript, which is our language and is based on JavaScript.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. Now, I also understand that the integration is really important to many NetSuite customers. What sort of capacities does it offer to help extend NetSuite into other applications?
So we have our new REST APIs that are generally available in 20.1. And it's a great new way to build integrations with NetSuite. Our APIs can be used alongside familiar tools such as Swagger or Postman, which many integration developers use these days. Mm-hmm. And we've added native metadata support for records and actions, which is a very welcome change, especially for those who were familiar with our SOAP-based APIs for integration, and they didn't have access to metadata as much as the REST developers do now. So our approach with REST is also that we support all the same records as we support in SuiteScript, and that means that you can more easily integrate with NetSuite with this new API.
Yeah, you always answer my question. I was about to say, so tell me what's the overall benefit of that, but more easily integrate. You know, actually, this kind of segues nicely into what I want to ask overall, which is, what is the inspiration behind any of the products NetSuite builds for SuiteCloud? Like any of the products that your team builds out? What inspires you guys?
Kendall, that's a priceless question. I wish there was a formula to this, but there are lots of inputs into the decision-making process. And but most importantly, understanding our users' goals is critical. So we ask questions like, how can we make it easier for customers to manage the suite? Or how do we make it cheaper and faster for developers to build suite apps and extensions on the platform without compromising quality? Mm-hmm. So in this industry trends and our own innovative ideas, of course, play a role too. For example, when we decided to expand our global footprint for internationalization and localization became really important to us, so that our ecosystem can move alongside us and provide global solutions that feel local to our customers.
Right.
So we kind of made adjustments as part of our strategy to go there and provide the right tools. And having said all of this, though, the ultimate driver is always the outcomes our users want to achieve, and that is what we think about.
Okay, two-part question here. First part is these native localizations. Obviously, this has been a way bigger push over the last 3 years since the Oracle acquisition, I'm assuming, as we have continued to expand more quickly and bigger than ever before. Has that posed any challenges for us as we've expanded way more globally than we were even just 5 years ago?
Yes, of course, it has added challenges. Primarily, I think it's like for any product organization, when you're fully kind of firing on all cylinders going to one direction, shifting that focus is always a challenge. But we've always had translation and internationalization capabilities as part of the suite. So for us, it wasn't a matter of inventing this from scratch. It was just kind of prioritizing the gaps that we felt higher and being able to fill those gaps as quickly as we could.
And then my second question is, being a customer ourselves, utilizing the SuiteCloud platform ourselves, are we learning as we're going too internally?
Definitely. So interesting you ask that. So many of the tools that, especially in this area, as we build them, we have an internal evaluation process with our own developers and product managers who build on the platform, and we get their feedback, fold it into the tools, and kind of iron out all the wrinkles before we release it to our customers.
Well,
so
and
they get the benefit.
Yeah, well, and no one's a bigger critic than yourself, right?
Of course.
We're going to be our biggest critics. So
And very loud voices too.
So, see, that's comforting for any of the customers or prospects listening in now. We are going to be our biggest critics. So, when we're delivering this to you, we're delivering it to the best of our abilities to what we think you're going to need, in the end. Okay, well, so to conclude here, what else can you tell us about SuiteCloud and what's next? What's to come?
All right. So we've been talking a lot about developers, but we really don't ever get tired of talking about developers. So we are doing a lot more for them. We are working on a testing framework to kind of satisfy the full software development lifecycle needs, or SDLC, as it's known in the industry. You can integrate with a third-party tool of your choice to extend your fully automated DevOps process into full testing automation. And this is a huge deal for anybody who actually builds Suite apps on the platform. And then we talked a little bit about our international strategy, and we are doing more work there. We'll be adding complete support for translation of Suite apps as part of the SDF. We are fully baking this process into SDF. So as you build and distribute apps, all the translations are going to be part of the application that you're building and delivering. There is a whole new tool set and set of capabilities to help developers build better user interfaces for their applications with more of a NetSuite native look and feel. So how we talked about one of the benefits of NetSuite is that when you build something, you don't have to learn a new system or teach your users a new thing. And the more these UIs that you build on the platform look like the rest of NetSuite, the better we are addressing that challenge. And so single-page UIs are a big trend now. Many of our developers build them today, but they have to jump through a lot of hoops to get there. We are making it easier by providing native support for single-page applications as part of the platform. And then ultimately, our goal is that SuiteCloud developers will have access to the same technologies as our core developers do when building UIs, and that these UIs are seamlessly integrated into the suite. Some exciting stuff that hopefully people will start using is that as we build a new capabilities, I mentioned Node.js support earlier. This will be available in GitHub, in a GitHub repository, so that our developer community can access the tool and bootstrap their development more easily. And then while they're doing that, they can also get some good community support from other people who are doing the same thing. One other exciting thing to mention here is that we are turning our focus more towards NetSuite administrators. We are hearing a lot from our customers that they want more intelligent and easier management of the suite. So we are working on a new tool to help management of customizations. And one of the common problems people face today is transparency over customizations. So, for example, they ask, what happens if I change a field here or a record here? And is it going to break something? Is it going to break someone's access or their workflow or integration? So we are adding a lot of transparency and providing capabilities for impact analysis to our customers so that they can foresee the consequence of the change and manage it much more easily.
Wow, that's huge.
It's going to be huge. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, seriously. So what is the timeline on all of this? Like, is this like our fiscal year 21 plans, or what are we looking?
So some parts of what I talked about is going to be coming out in fiscal 21, and I'm still not used to our fiscal periods. So over the next kind of 12 to 18 months, some of these features are going to be available.
12 to 18 months. Wow, that's a lot to roll out.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling awesome.
Well, we look forward to hearing and learning more about this and for all of this to roll out. And I really appreciate you coming on the NetSuite podcast. I'm sure this won't be your last time.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
This was your first, but not your last. Thank you so much, Elham. And we look forward to everything that's to come.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Elham Ghassemzadeh for joining us on this episode of the NetSuite podcast and diving into the SuiteCloud platform and some of those beneficial updates. I also want to shout out to everyone who made this episode possible, including our editing crew over at Lampstand, and of course, all of you listeners for tuning in. Talk to you next time.
You just listened to the NetSuite podcast. Be sure to tune in every week with more NetSuite developments, stories, and insights into the benefits of one integrated system to help you run your business.